How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. With legends like Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, and finally Chris Webber making the 2021 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, those guys will be remembered for being all-stars in their eras, a solid class. While it took four-time Defensive Player of the Year and undrafted center Ben Wallace nearly 10 years since retirement to finally get in the Hall, Big Ben became one of the most talked about players to not make the Hall of Fame for quite some time now. Finally got his respect, and rightfully so. However, there are still some players in past decades who's been retired for a long time, still hasn't had their chance to get in, while many of the players having a lower probability on Basketball Reference got in. With that said, let's take a look at 10 retired eligible former players with the highest Hall of Fame probability odds to not make it in the Hall yet. Number 10, Walter Davis. At 6'6", Sweet D came into the league the 5th pick in '77, became an all-star by his rookie year, one of the best rookie seasons all time, numbers of 24.2 points, 6 rebounds, and efficient 53% shooting, even finished 5th for MVP. Continued to excel year 2, averaged 23.6 points, got his team to the conference finals, an all-star each of his first 4 seasons, but Davis's numbers peaked his first 2 years. Gray Howe made second team All-NBA his first 2 seasons as well, even once held the record for most total points without a miss, 34, remains the Suns' all-time leading scorer 30 plus years since playing for the franchise. However, in the 80s, Davis battled with drug addiction, affected his play on the court. Age 27 should have been the prime of his career, but put up just 14.4 points, limited to 23 games in '85 with a back injury, seek treatment, and kind of rejuvenated his career. Averaged 21.8 points and 23.6 at ages 31 and 32, but ended up testifying against his teammates who were in the middle of a drug scandal. Was given the nickname Waltergate because of that. Davis then made stops with Denver and Portland. The scandal definitely ruined his Hall of Fame chances. One of the most forgotten good scorers, also one of the players Michael Jordan admired growing up. Number 9, Jermaine O'Neal, a 31.8% chance, one of the best players in the mid-2000s, also one of the most forgotten stars of the '96 class, straight out of high school, spent 4 seasons with the Stacked Blazers after putting up numbers of just 3.9 points and 3 rebounds with Portland. The Pacers shockingly traded center Dale Davis for the 21-year-old J.O., who started to improve, became a 13-10 guy in 2001, made his first All-Star team in 2002, most improved player, averaged 19-10, became one of the league's best rim protectors, 6 straight All-Stars, was even third in MVP voting 2004, put up over 20-10 with the 61-win Pacers, 3 straight All-NBA games from 2002 to 2004, prime Jermaine in the discussion for the third best power forward in the game behind Garnett and Duncan. If this was 2004 and 100 NBA experts were asked would they rather have Jermaine O'Neal or Dirk Nowitzki as your franchise player for the next 8 years, half of them would have taken Jermaine. Anyone who watched the NBA back then knows that too. Known for his great post moves, fadeaway mid-range game, nice spin moves around the basket, but Malice in the Palace gave Indy a negative image. O'Neal suspended, had injuries that year too, averaged 24-9 in his prime. The incident ruined the Pacers' title hopes. Artest suspended remainder of the season, demanded a trade early following year. Reggie Miller retired after the 2005 playoffs. O'Neal then was injury prone with knee issues. After 2007, became a role player, made stops with Toronto, Miami, Boston, Phoenix, and Golden State. If Jermaine would have won a title with the Pacers as the best player, no doubt he'd be in the Hall. If the Malice didn't happen, O'Neal would have contended a few years longer because his name often doesn't get mentioned amongst the greatest power forwards. Only the ones who watched the NBA in the mid-2000s truly knows how great prime J.O. was. Number 8, Shawn Kemp, over a 38% probability, a freak of nature to be reckoned with. Same with Jermaine. Kemp also the 17th pick, 7 years before J.O., a 6-time All-Star, just like J.O., 3 All-NBAs, what a coincidence. Kemp with point guard Gary Payton started to make serious noise in '93, year 4, an 18-11 guy, 55 wins took Barkley's Suns to 7, the leading scorer on those Sonics teams, along with All-Star Payton, both their chemistry on point, the original Lob City, insane athleticism, the definition of a powerful power forward with nasty posters. His first finals, the '96 season, despite falling to Jordan's Bulls, Kemp balled out, averaged a spectacular 23.3 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, 55% shooting, insanely impressive numbers for a low-scoring series. Even even finished second for Finals MVP voting, the most astonishing unwritten achievement of his career, but later had contract disputes with the organization, traded to Cleveland in '97, picked up weight and game-changed, battled with drug and alcohol addiction, slowed his career down, became a shell of himself after age 30, did not have good longevity. Number 7, Lou Hudson, almost a 48% chance in the Sidney Moncrief territory and a higher probability than Ben Wallace, who just got in the Hall. The 6-time All-Star had a great stroke, career averages of 20.2 points, average over 25 a game, 5.5 boards, 2.5 steals in his All-Star stretches. The original Sweet Lou made second-team All-NBA in 1970 because his teams were never really elite. Hudson, often forgotten, known for his backcourt days with Pete Maravich. If there was a three-point line back in the 70s, both the duo might have averaged over 30 plus given their great outside shooting. To play 13 seasons in the NBA and average over 20 points to not make the Hall, given the fact Hudson retired with the Lakers in '79, the season before Magic's rookie year. Hudson staying a year longer, being able to win a title even as a role player would have helped his chances, a tough pill to swallow. Even if Hudson does make the Hall of Fame later on, he won't be there to see it. Passed away in 2014 at 69. Number 6, Larry Costello, nearly 71% chance. The 6-time All-Star played way back in the 50s and 60s, career averages of over a dozen points, nearly 5 assists, All-NBA in '61 at 6'1", won a title with the '67 Sixers as a role player. Very forgotten, especially playing in the early days. Costello more remembered as head coach of the '71 Jabbar Bucks team that won the title. Costello passed away in 2001 at age 70. Number 5, Amar'e Stoudemire, nearly a 73% chance, last played in 2016, same season as Chris Bosh. Prime stat was a force to be reckoned with, incredible athleticism, a monster inside, pick and roll with Nash made the Suns unstoppable offensively. Won Rookie of the Year in '03, by year 3 at just 22, Amar'e averaged 26 points, 9 rebounds, 56% shooting, as explosive as any big man during his time, averaged 30 and 11 in the '05 playoffs, a nightmare matchup for traditional slower centers, had a serious eye injury in '06, limited him to 3 games, but '07 came back, made first team All-NBA for the 61-win Suns, posted over 25 and 12 that playoffs. If Stoudemire didn't get suspended Game 5 versus San Antonio, Phoenix might have very well won the title that year. Put up 25 and 9 in '08, but limited to 53 games in '09. In 2010, last season with Phoenix, averaged a spectacular 23 and 9. The 6-time All-Star made 5 All-NBA teams after coming up short in the conference finals. Signed with New York for the 2010-11 season, made the franchise relevant again. Averaged over 25 a game in 2011. A serious MVP candidate before Melo's arrival, even had 9 straight 30-plus point games. Stat combines with injuries, struggled to dominate without a real point guard, a back injury in 2012. By that time, New York was fully Melo's team. A knee injury forced Amar'e to miss the first 30 games of the 2013 season, played just 29 total, barely produced, became a shell of himself, played 65 games in 2014, but was only a 12 and 5 guy by then at 31, made stops with Dallas and Miami, played his final NBA game at 33. Stoudemire should get in the Hall sometime in the mid-2020s decade. Number 4, Stoudemire's former teammate Shawn Marion. If the mid-2000s Suns would have won a title, I can certainly guarantee Marion would be in the Hall by now. The Matrix 4-time All-Star, 2 All-NBAs, known for his explosiveness, weird-looking ugly jumper, and tenacious rebounding. First 8.5 seasons with Phoenix, played with point guards Jay Kidd, Steph Marbury, and Steve Nash, became an All-Star in the Loaded West in '03 for averaging over 21 and 9. Very versatile, great two-way presence. Marion might very well have been the best defensive player to never make an all-defensive team. An absolute travesty he never made an all-defensive team. The Matrix would be a perfect fit for the modern NBA. Positionless basketball, can guard all 5 positions, shoot the 3, rebound like a center, dominate the glass in small ball lineups. His best year 2006 when Amar'e went out, Marion put up career highs of 21.8 points, nearly 12 rebounds, 2 steals, almost 2 blocks, second best player on a 54-win team. His last All-Star stint in '07, Phoenix got worse after trading him for old Shaq. Marion slowed down in his 30s but became a terrific role player, especially for the 2011 Mavs, a 12 and 7 guy by then, a huge part of that title team. Retired after the 2015 season at 37. Given his accomplishments, Marion should get in the Hall but might have to wait a few years. Number 3, Tim Hardaway Sr. Over a 79% chance, 5-time All-Star, one of the best handles and killer crossovers, and one of the best point guards in the 90s. Started with the Run TMZ Warriors. His second to fourth season averaged nearly 23 points, 10 dimes, over 2 steals, 5 All-NBA teams, first team in 97, finished 4th for MVP that year, the best player on a 61-win team, even though he suffered a knee injury which sidelined him for the entire 94 season. Hardaway was a top 3 point guard at his peak for a few years. Ranked 3rd in assists for the 90s, 6 in total threes made, 8 in total steals, would absolutely put up big numbers in today's game. Last played in the 03 season. Hardaway's accomplishments and being a top 5 point guard for his era, having a higher probability than former teammates Mitt Richmond and Chris Mullin, both of whom in the Hall, because Hardaway made some negative comments back in 2007. Combined with cancel culture, I don't see Tim Hardaway Sr. making the Hall anytime soon. Number 2, Chauncey Billups. It's an absolute travesty Mr. Big Shot's not in the Hall of Fame yet. His numbers might not make you think he's an all-time great, but Billups, an absolute all-time great leader. The former 3rd pick, viewed as a bust early in his career, but heavily improved, averaged over a dozen for the 02 Wolves, signed with the Pistons after, in 6 full seasons with Detroit, 6 conference finals trips, shocked the world winning the 04 title, ending the Kobe Shaq era for good. All-time greats Utah's Karl Malone and John Stockton, Tim Duncan and David Robinson Spurs, and the Billups-led Pistons, the only greats to knock off Kobe and Shaq in the postseason, being the most valuable player in the 04 finals, pulling off all of the biggest upsets in NBA history, should make Billups more than deserving of the Hall. Made his first All-Star team in 2006 at 29, first of 5, 3 All-NBA teams, 2 defensive teams. Chauncey was better in his late 20s and early 30s than his mid-20s. After being traded to the Nuggets, the Pistons franchise collapsed and still haven't won a single postseason game since 2008. Billups then turned Denver into true contenders, put a beat down on Chris Paul's Hornets, made the conference finals in a competitive series, falling to the eventual champion Lakers. Although Carmelo was a more talented player in 2009, Billups was the real MVP candidate and leader of that Nuggets team. His highest scoring year came 2010 at 33, 19.5 points, the definition of winning basketball, great size, physical body. With all the respect to some of the best point guards in 2021, my hot take of this video, given the Kyrie Irvings and Russell Westbrooks of the world, I'd much rather have a prime Billups on a true contender over any of those 2 guys. Although those guys are more talented, put up better numbers, anyone who watched Billups closely in the 2000s would absolutely agree with my statement. If you're still not sold on this statement, pair up Russ Westbrook with Melo on the 09 Nuggets team. They simply wouldn't have meshed and went as far as how Billups elevated that whole squad. Likely a first round exit, to be honest. It's no accident Billups went to 7 straight conference finals his peak years. Number 1, Larry Foust. The most All-Star selections to not be in the Hall, 8 times. That's more than Scottie Pippen and Kevin McHale. All the 8-time All-Stars as of 2021, Vince Carter, Dave Cowens, future Hall of Famer Anthony Davis, Dave DeBusschere, Alex English, future Hall of Famer Dwight Howard, Bob Lanier, Yao Ming, Dikembe, Steve Nash, and Bill Sharman. All the other retirees easily Hall of Famers, while the 6'9" center Foust forgotten since he played in the 50s, a double-double force, mostly with the Fort Wayne Pistons, 2 All-NBA teams, a former rebounds champ, no titles, 0-5 in the finals, perhaps the most forgotten great player all time for his era, having over a 94% probability rate, higher than Adrian Dantley, Alex English, James Worthy, and Grant Hill. Foust passed away in 1984 at 56, one of the first great centers in the league. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which players on this list deserves to make the Hall most? Let me know in the comments below. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, current NBA, and anything NBA basketball that will interest you. So if you love NBA basketball and want to gain knowledge in the fastest way, just hit the subscribe button. Once again, thank you so much for all your support. I love all of you. See you next time.